This is Spanish 2, sentences 85 through 88. 85. These books are boring. Estos libros son aburridos. Estos libros son aburridos. 86. Julio is very thirsty. Julio tiene mucha sed. Julio tiene mucha sed. 87. I ought to drink more water. Yo debo beber más agua. Yo debo beber más agua. And 88. There are 2 dogs in our house. Hay 2 perros en nuestra casa. Hay 2 perros en nuestra casa. Now, a lot of people get the word estos confused with esos. E-S-T-O-S are these. E-S-O-S are those. Remember that chant. This and these have T's, hey, that, and those don't. This and these have T's, hey, that, and those don't. And also, if you touch it, it has a T. Everybody, if you touch it, it has a T. If you're confused on when to say esta chica and esa chica, there's just type in this, these, that, those. And there's a nice clip on that. Now, Mr. Holt, how are we going to remember that aburrido is boring? Well, everybody say a burrito. Go. A burrito. It would be boring to eat a burrito every day. So aburrido or aburridos is boring. Now, in English we say, Julio is very thirsty. And most people know the word in Spanish for very is muy. Like, ¿cómo estás? How are you? Muy bien. Ella es muy inteligente. She is very smart. Él es muy alto. But in Spanish you don't say Julio is very thirsty. You say Julio has much thirst. Hold it, Mr. Holt. Julio's a boy, so shouldn't it be mucho? Be careful. Julio has much thirst. Thirst is feminine. All right? Hunger and thirst are always feminine. It doesn't matter who's hungry or thirsty, it's always feminine. So you say, Paco tiene mucha sed. Maria tiene mucha sed. Same thing for hungry. Paco tiene mucha hambre. La chica tiene mucha hambre. So literally, Julio has much thirst, and thirst is always feminine. And remember, a seed needs water, so in essence, a seed is always thirsty. Now, deber means to should. Or to ought, like I ought to drink more water, or I ought to study more. How are we going to remember that? Visualize a real beautiful girl named Deb. Everybody say Deb. And every time we see her, we think, wow, Deb should be a model. Deb ought to be in Hollywood. Deb should be an actress. Deb ought to be, in magazines. So which sounds better? I drink more water, or I ought to drink? I ought to drink. Now remember the chant. When you hear the word to, like I ought to drink, you don't chop and glue. So it's I ought to drink more water. A lot of people confuse the words más, mucho, muy, and so there's a clip on that if you want to check. Más, mucho, muy. Now, I means there is or there are. When Bart Simpson says, ay caramba, I guess one way to translate that is there is a crisis or there is a problem. It looks like the word hay. The way I remembered it, there is hay in the barn, there are bales of hay in the barn. There is hay in the barn, there are bales of hay in the barn. I grew up in the country. So, there are 2 dogs in our house. A lot of people get nosotros, which is we, confused with nuestra, which is our, confused with nos. So if you type in our, or any one of those words, nos, nuestro, or nuestra, there's a nice little clip on that. That is Spanish 2, sentences 85 through 88.